Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I was just continuing to watch Surviving Death on Netflix, and I'm just uploading the one I just made on the Pursuit of Truth about these two programs I was watching, and I wanted to bring a clip from each of them. They were the two clips that moved me. I forgot to mention it in the last one. That's the one I'm going to start with now, which is from Life After Death with Tyler Henry. And it's a woman talking about her son. I don't know this story, but it vaguely seemed familiar when she was talking about it, where the son was in the water and drowning, and he had a GoPro camera, so everything was captured. And people around him, she says that you can be seen on the GoPro camera looking towards him as if they could see what was happening and didn't help him out. And it just struck me as so bad. I mean, I don't know, because she's a person of colour, and I assume the son was, and I do wonder whether there was a racism that was going on. I don't know. The other children, in the flashback they show you, they suggest the other children were white. So I don't know if this was a racist thing. Well, either way, whether it was racist or not, to see someone struggling and not help them out, and they led to that person dying. I mean, personally, if it was me, I would want those children charged with something, because you can't just not help someone out. But I guess that's the world we live in, isn't it? We live in a world where it happens all the time. You can just turn the TV on every day and you find where humanity isn't helping humanity. The system that we live in that stops us from doing that. Anyway, that's going off into another thing, but I just wanted to bring this one, and the other one I've just listened to now on Surviving Death, about this girl who was talking to her aunt. It just seemed, especially when it's a child, it's just to hear her voice. And also the idea of the mother now reliving, at the time it being filmed, this child was alive. Now this child's obviously passed, and they're talking to this program about it, and just to be watching back to know that there's a moment where you have video. I suppose that's the thing, the age that we live in now, that is going to haunt us. What I was talking about in a few Pursuits of Truth ago, about having these videos on YouTube that will always be there, that my children, when I've gone, will be able to watch as if I'm still there, and that those memories, even now talking about it, to know that now at this time I was alive saying these words. But there will be a point where I'm not, or they're not, or we're all not. I know, it's scary and profound in the same, this idea. We're so lucky to live this existence. If only we could live it better. That's my wish. Anyway, let me play these things so you can hear, because I found them very moving. I know I mentioned in the other one about the child who got killed by a tree falling down, so I've already mentioned that one. I would have played you that clip, but I've got these two from each one so you can hear them. I'll just move the speaker there and I'll play it for you.
Country.
Without giving too much away, do you know if anyone was around him at the time of his passing?
Yes.
The way that this is coming through is the response from the people around him felt kind of immature. It's almost like how a child would respond to something bad happening. The people that were around him, were they younger?
Yeah.
He's giving me this feeling of scrambling. So anytime I see scrambling, it usually indicates I'm here, and then someone running, leaving, don't want to be where they're at. Do you know if anybody fled?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like I'm scrambling. Everybody, gotcha. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because in the way this comes through, I feel like this happens, and then we don't know how to deal with it, and then we're everyone's going different directions.
They left him there till the next day, actually.
Oh my God, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. Don't know why. I feel like I can't catch my breath. It feels, I don't know what this is. It feels similar to when the wind gets knocked out of you kind of thing. But I can't let air into my lungs fully and then release it. Do you know if there were any breathing issues at all in his situation?
Yes.
I guess at this point, this might be a chance to tell me what happened.
He drowned.
He drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A field trip took a turn for the worse when a teenager actually died.
Tomari was on Cobb High School's annual trip to Belize. The students had just landed, and prior to going to the hotel, they stopped at the Cyburn River. Tomari was equipped with a GoPro, which captured everything, including his drowning.
I was told that nobody saw what happened to Tomari, yet on the camera, I saw at least 15 people looking at him. If you watch that video, it feels as though you're looking through his eyes. He had it here. And you can see every turn he made. I saw him asking for help, like calling out for help, like, help. He literally touched someone twice and they pushed his hand away. Like they pushed his hand. All it took was an extension of someone's hand and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking no one said anything. The kids that were around didn't tell the adults.
Yeah.
But the adults didn't miss him. That's another thing.
Yeah.
They didn't realize he was missing, so they went back to where they were staying before they realized. The way this was handled made me feel like my son's life wasn't valued. Like, I just want to say, no, he really was something special. He may not have been to you, but he meant the world to somebody.
He brings up accountability, and I there's some greater accountability in my opinion that should have been taken that just wasn't taken, and I don't think it's going to be taken. And that's kind of the frustrating thing, is it's like, even beyond people's reactions, it's bigger than just the people that were there that day. It's so frustrating, and he's very much wanting you to know that he's not angry at the people who fled.
Okay.
The people who didn't do anything, and they should have.
Right.
But he doesn't want you to be angry. It feels like you have a whole life ahead of you and a lot of positive things to experience. He just doesn't want his passing to define how we think of his life.
Right.
He's okay,
Well, that's good to know. Before the reading, I felt as though I was grasping or guessing about what's going on with Tomari since his transition. However, getting that affirmation is very comforting. I definitely feel like I communicated with my son today.
I don't know, just sometimes watching that, it's just the world we live in where, they were saying the children were younger than him. On the video, I assume they're showing you can't see, it's on episode 4, I Don't See Dead People. They show what looks like the actual GoPro. They don't look that young. Not young enough to help him, and it doesn't look like the water was too deep. And to think, it just seems so bad when he would have said, please help me. He put his hand on someone and he was pushed away. How could anyone behave like that, no matter how young they are? They didn't look like 5 or something. They looked at least maybe 10, maybe 12. Why would they do such a thing? Allow someone's life to end? And even Tyler Henry seems to allude to it. I assume he's alluding to racism when he says it's not about just the individuals, it's about something bigger than this. Why do we live like this? Why do we see each other in a different way when yet we are all the same? We are all human beings. We all deserve a good existence and a good life. We all deserve to live. We all deserve to feel. We shouldn't have our lives cut short by each other. I don't know, it's just, you think of your own children, you think, that even, like she said, the adults didn't even notice he wasn't there, as if he meant nothing to them. That it seems to allude to me to racism. And I just worry because my children are mixed race. I don't like using those terms because I don't believe in colour coding humanity, because we're all humans and that's as far as I have it. But in the world I live in, people do. And they see people differently. Imagine if that was my child and my child was crying out for help and you didn't help him. Why wouldn't you help another human being that's just like you? It just is so hurtful. Anyway, let's play this other clip. This one is from Netflix's Surviving Death. That it just touched me hearing this. This one is from episode 5, Seeing Dead People.
This is Jenny's bear box, she called it. She's got all her hospital bracelets in here. Jenny was a very strong-headed girl. She was born pretty healthy. But on January 7th, 2015, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. She was 14 and a half. She fought and she gave it all her effort she could, and she just never believed she was gonna die until she talked to my aunt in heaven.
My Aunt Miriam came down to bring me up to heaven, and she was playing with me with Barbies, and fell asleep together with her dog.
And when you see your aunt, where are you?
In a castle.
Really?
There's a window that you can see the sun through it.
What do you think the castle is? What does it mean?
Safe place.
Safe place. Yeah.
Just a few days before Jenny passed, I could hear her talking in her room, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. So I went in to check on her and said, who are you talking to? And she said, God. And I said, okay. It was comforting, but scary, because I knew why she was seeing God. At that point, I knew. What it makes me feel is I feel better about my daughter dying. I feel like I know my daughter's not alone. And now when a friend or a family member passes away, I try to tell them Jenny's story to help them feel better, like get through their grieving processes.
And then I saw Aunt Mimi in a castle.
Really?
There's a window that you can see the sun.
So this is a pretty special place.
And then there's a piano.
Jenny's castle was her safe place. She felt safe there, which is why I can get through my days now that she's not here anymore, because I think she's in a castle, and I'm hoping that I'll get to go there someday.
We've done studies of hundreds of bereaved people. It's very clear. What's good for the patient is good for their loved ones. And it absolutely soothes them in grief.
Do you get asked whether or not you believe that there's life after death?
Oh, shit. That's a question I hate the most. And you know what? I keep getting asked that question, and I don't have a prepared answer. My natural bias is to avoid any questions of spirituality. I don't even like horoscopes. I don't like anything. I would never see a medium or have my palm read or anything. But I think you'd be a fool to have seen what I've seen for 20 some years and heard what I've heard and not think there's more to this story. It's remarkably short-sighted to hang on to this notion that we only can believe what we can see.
Yep. There he goes. Ah, what a world we live in, huh? When will it ever change? Such precious moments that we all experience for a transitory moment, and then we're gone, each one of us, all of those that have gone before us, all of us that will go, and all of those in the future that will go. No one will cheat of death. Everyone will taste of it. And that's even so more why we should hold on to it and hold on to each other and change this world and make it better, rather than look at the world that we live in. Look at it. Look at how we fight with each other. Look at the wars that have gone on and are still going on to this day, fighting over bits of land we can never own because we all die, trying to hold on to empires and power and greed and possession of a place that we all found ourselves freely on. This isn't ours. Like I was watching that Paramount Plus, 1923 with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, and there's a comment where I think Harrison Ford says something about man owns this land, and then the guy returns to him and says man doesn't own this land, man only tends this land, God owns this land. And that's quite a progressive thought. It's one of the things I keep talking about, this idea that it's not ours, we're just here to look after it. It's not ours, it's not yours, it's not, America's, Russia's, China's, it's not, all these people, even the person who put a flag on it and said this is mine and cut it up and gave it a name. It's not theirs, you never had the right to do that. It's all of ours, because we found ourselves in this. Unless you can tell us why we're all here, we're all making this fucking story up. We're all playing this game of Monopoly with our lives and our existence, because okay, I suppose if you want to believe in this idea that we don't know why we're here and we all just came and we're involved or whatever, and now it's up to us, we can do whatever we like. We can take this bit by power, possession, greed, and by anger and by force, and say this is mine and it's not yours and I'll fight you to the death for it. What the fuck does that say about us if that's what we want to hold on to? Because that's what we're all holding on to. That's the borders that we're holding on to. The borders of this free place that we found ourselves on. The borders that we put around all the agriculture and all the things that were given freely to us. Every single thing that was given freely to us. And if most of us claim to believe in God, well, if he comes back and asks for his stuff back, what then? What then are you going to do? Are you going to stand up to him and say, well, now I own this is mine? And then God will rightly tell you that I created you. I created every atom of you. I created every atom of everything that's ever existed and ever will exist. If God exists, that is. And if he doesn't exist, then why are we choosing to border ourselves up on each other and the place that we found ourselves upon on, and living this stupid life where we're all suffering in some ways or other, some suffering more than others, some losing their lives, us wasting our time with competition and mucking about and having different versions of things just to try and get all the money, living with pieces of paper from a fucking tree as our existence and our pursuit to survive, not live. What kind of a life are we living? Truly, we all should be asking ourselves that. And if you can really go to bed happy with what you've seen and what you've experienced, well then fine, I guess. But I don't think most people would be able to. Even those people that sit on the thrones, that have all the power, that have all the control, surely even they would feel guilt, would feel that the way we're living could be better done. And if that is the case, then why aren't we doing it? When are we going to wait? Are we going to wait to some kind of catastrophe? Oh, can't even say it. No, I'm going to try now. Some major disaster happens, and then we're going to decide, let's change now. Or when there's not enough of us and we have to change, or we run out of everything. Because, I mean, if climate change does exist, there's going to be a lot less of us in the future anyway, because the heat and the water and the flooding and the land that will be taken away, and, you know, the ice caps melting and everything changing, like a new ice age or a new heat wave, whatever we're going to call it. And humanity will have put ourselves in our situation with our cars and our factories trying to compete to each other to get the dollar, the pound, the yen, whatever. And we'll fuck up this planet, and there will end up being 2 of us left until we all die. And then we'll be looking back and saying, wow, we could have had generations more of us if we'd learned earlier on to live together and work together and not... I don't know. Anyway, I've said enough. Take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.